Hello everyone and welcome to our latest workout. My goodness, this camera angle's way off. There we are. So for this workout, we are going to mimic having a Pilates reformer in your own home. And all you need for it is a towel, probably about this big, like one that both your feet could fit on, about a hand towel size. And you need to be on flooring, so not carpeting, okay? Preferably like something smooth, so not a tile with like a lot of grout lines will be ideal. No mat needed, nothing else, and we are going to get going with this. One thing I will say is this type of workout is super, super, super wonderful because it allows lengthening of our muscles while they're needing to be strengthened. So a lot of workouts that we do in general, not just the ones that I do with you guys, but workouts across the board, tend to really focus on contracting or shortening muscles. So like think of a bicep curl, we shorten our arm, shorten the bicep. These exercises focus on lengthening a muscle while making it work. So a very different mechanism, but arguably even more important, and especially for people who have like a lot of tightness or tension, this type of strength work is great, or needing some more stability around joints. So if you've got a cranky, excuse me, cranky knees, cranky hips, cranky shoulders, these are all really, really good exercises. So take it at your own pace and what you're able to do. Some of them are quite tricky, but just shorten the range of motion, and I will give cues and modifications as we go. So come on up into standing. Excuse me. I need a sip of water here so I don't choke to death. All right, so here we go. Let's just start with some basic hip movement. Keep your towel close by. You guys know how I like to stretch those hips out. So just start doing circular motion through the pelvis and hips. Feel the inner thighs, the hamstrings, the hip flexors, everything just kind of get worked out here. Break those cobwebs up if you've been sitting for a long time. Add in some upper body side stretches, stretch through the arms. Oh, it feels so good. And the other way, just a nice little quick and easy dynamic workout here. Get low into the legs and then stretch upwards, bend those knees, get low into the hips. Hips come up, stretch upwards, and then just move your weight side to side. Get those muscles nice and long. Lots of blood flowing before we get into the goods. Okay, so you can continue to do this for a little bit longer and hit pause on the video, but to keep things nice and brief, we're gonna get right into the workout. So if you have your towel, grab it. You're gonna put it under one of your feet. Try to not have too many wrinkles in it. And we're gonna start by sliding that foot out. Now, a few things to keep note of. What we're looking for is a nice equal slide out and in, and no shift through my upper body. The easier way to do this is when I get out here to shift my weight over and almost like pull myself up with the other leg. I want you to really think of squeezing between both legs to pull that leg in. Lots of inner thigh work here. Lots of glute work on the standing leg to keep me stable. And your floor gets cleaned the same time. 2 for 1. Good. Keep going. You may find you sort of hit a certain range where if you go too far, it becomes this sort of like choppy pulling your leg in. So don't go that far. I'd rather you do it successfully with good technique than trying to go into a stretch that feels a little inaccessible to control the motion. Good, let's do one more on this leg, out and in, and then switch it on over to the opposite leg. Both legs, as you do this, should feel like they're getting a workout, okay? So then come out, pause here, and in. My upper body does not shift at all. My leg comes in with control, and there's fairly equal weight between both feet, I'd say. Maybe slightly more on the standing leg, but like marginally, maybe 55%. Okay, I'm not staying light on the gesture leg. It is pushing into the ground to come up, and I really feel those muscles working hard around my hips, around my knees. It's quite good. Good, and again, let's do 2 more on this side. I never count reps. If that bothers you, feel free to even things out. It's all feel. Good, and then bring it in. Switch legs, so go back to the first leg, and this time we're gonna go into a different plane of motion. So now the leg with the towel under it is going to slide back while the front knee bends, and then we pull in. So my heel is off the towel here. Just the ball of my foot is there, and it's the same principle, okay? We're using both legs to pull back in, and really feeling the glutes work, hip flexors work, inner thigh work, all equally. There's no jaggedy motion. If I go too far and I can't control it, then it starts to look like I'm using momentum of my upper body to get up. Then you've gone a little too far. 3. Oh, feels nice. 2. So one of my favorite moves on the reformer to get a nice hip flexor stretch. 1. Good. Switch it to the other side. Same thing here. Knee bends, but I'm not lunging forward into it, okay? It just bends as my leg comes back, up and in. Again, take note, how does this feel on one side versus the other? Do you have more range of motion, more strength, more control? Where are you feeling it most? Down and up, down and up. Excellent. Keep your gaze looking at something right in front of you. Maybe it's me on the screen. Focus your attention and really feel what each leg is doing as you go into this. And one more here. Back and up we go. Excellent. Good. So we're going to give our legs a little break, and we're going to come down to the mat with our hands on the towel, okay? And now you're going to stay on your knees for a second here. And what we're doing is we're coming forward, and then we're coming back, okay? Now, again, a lot of ways to sort of cheat with this one is if we come forward and we shift our weight back and then pull our arms in, pretty easy. What I want you to try and do is pull your arms in as you shift back. So as I come forward, my arms and my legs move at the same time. Harder to do. And as I watch myself, I can't focus on it. So let me try this again. There we go. Hands go forward, bum goes forward, hands go back, bum goes back. Good. If this bothers your knee, pause it here, put a cushion under, and pull back with those arms. Good. Now you're going to come up. You're going to hover those knees. And in this position here, what you're going to do is keep the towel exactly where it is. And you're going to tap, 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 tap. And the key with this is you are moving the towel, then you're pushing too much of your weight forward. So keep the towel still as we tap our hands. Good. We're in a nice square with the rest of our body. Keep breathing through this and try to minimize any weight shift into the legs. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring that bad boy underneath the legs and the knees, sorry. We're going to get to the feet in a second. You may want to double up your towel here just so it doesn't hurt your knees to be on the ground. And what we're doing here is the reverse of what we did with the arms. So knees go out, knees come in, okay? You can cross your feet if that feels easier. Knees go out, knees come in. Knees go out, knees come in. Good. That feels easy, or maybe your knees just really don't like dragging on the floor. You're going to bring it to feet. So here, knees hover, feet go out, back to a hover. Feet go out, back to a hover. Let's do 5 here. 5 and in. Hands right underneath the shoulders. We're lifted through our rib cage. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Bring the knees down. Sit back for a quick stretch. Good. Keep your feet, or keep the towel underneath your feet. This time you're going to come up and you're going to lift up through the bum. And then you're going to slide yourself back to a plank. So we lift up and then we slide right back. Up and back. Let's do 3 more here. Up and back. 2 and back. Last 1 and back we go. Excellent. Now give that a little break. You're going to come onto your back. The floor has this like one area that's spick and span, which is lovely. Okay, so lying on your back, you're going to keep your, think about this, yes, so just heels on the ground, balls of the feet are lifted, and you're gonna come up into a bridge, okay? We're gonna do a few lifts and lower in a bridge. There should be 0 movement through the towel. So if, as you lift up, your feet slide, too much of your weight or your momentum is going this way. You wanna push directly down in that towel as you lift up into a bridge. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold that up position, and then legs go out, and legs go in. I went a little too far there. Out and in. You want to be able to lift. So I've got my hands up, which makes this a lot harder. If you put your hands to help stabilize you a bit on the ground, you'll get a little more support. But you're trying to keep your hips lifted and not move through your body as you drag those legs in. Lots of hamstring work here. 5. Should feel a burn through the back of those legs. 4, 3, and 2. Last 1. Come up. Good. Lift back up into a bridge. Cross one foot over the other. Keep your foot flat on the ground. And here you're going to slide out, pause, slide out, pause, slide out, 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 out. Good. Put the other foot down, slide back in, cross the other leg, slide out, 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 out. Put both feet down, slide that back in, cross the legs, keep the hips lifted, out, down. Pull that towel in and then cross the other leg. Last one here. Out, out, out. Put that towel down and bring the legs back in. Good. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll yourself back down. You can bring the knees into the chest for a quick little hug. Stretch out the low back and then come up into sitting. Good. So what you're going to do here is bring the towel behind you, okay? And you're going to, if you have the availability of range of motion in your wrists, have your wrists facing back. That's the wrong way. And what you're doing here is you're going to slide back through the arms, and then you're going to pull yourself back in. So we're sliding back with the arms, and pull yourself back in. Now, ways to make this a bit more challenging. Number 1 is you can cross the legs, so a little less contact through the legs, or you can lift the legs right up. So we slide back, We slide in. My towel's not quite long enough. Slide back, slide in. Good. 5. And in. 4. Now you'll see here my back stays nice and straight. I'm not rounding through my back as I come down. I'm just hinging at the hips. 2, nice stretch through the front of the shoulder, nice and wide through the collarbones, and 1. Good, bring that in. And then we're gonna do something similar to the side. So bring your hand down. You can sit, I like sitting in this sort of mermaid position with my legs sort of swiveled to one side. And you're gonna slide out with the arm and then push with your shoulder down into the ground to bring yourself back in. Slide out. Try to reach as far as you can with that arm. Stay nice and lifted through this rib cage. And then plant yourself and come back in. Lots of pressure through that hand to come back in. Now, play around with some different lines of movement. So go slightly forward, reach, push through that hand, and come back in. Awesome stabilization through the whole shoulder girdle. For people who have neck issues, rotator cuff issues, as long as the range of motion isn't bothersome, this is a really good exercise for getting some good control and strength through that shoulder. Now, if you want an extra challenge, you can lift the opposite leg. So now we're hinging off of one leg, and I'm just sort of doing a V pattern with this shoulder. Out and in, and out, and in. Good. Let's swap sides. And same thing here. And I'm sort of perched, not right on the boniest part of my hip, just back behind that slightly. And I'm going to start right away into that more challenging variation, because why not? And out, and in. Good. Lots of work when you lift that leg up. Core really gets involved here. And it's really good linking sort of opposite shoulder, opposite glutes, working these diagonal muscle systems within our body. Good. Out and in. Do a few more. No idea how many we've done. And in. And last one. Out and in. And then staying on our side here, we're going to take this towel and we're going to kick the leg back, and then we're going to slide the leg forward. When it gets to the very front, you're going to lift that leg up and tap down, bring the leg back, lift up, and back to the towel forward. So this is not really a reformer exercise, but one I really like to do with that towel. Whoop, lost it. Foot goes down and come forward, up, nice and high, slowly lower, and then back behind you. Now keep a little gap on your underside here so that your core is working nicely. Find that towel, come forward, lift up and down, over, up, and down. Find that towel. And last one here, lift up and down and come back. Good. Now before we do the other side, this is an optional one here. You can come either onto your forearm on the side. I like to cross the legs here. So the lower leg, sort of lower foot planted on the towel. You're going to lift up into a plank here, and you're going to kick the legs in and out. You can have this front arm and front hand to stabilize, or you can attempt to bring it up. Not sure I have the ability to do this right now. No, I'm going to keep that hand down. 3 and 2, in and back. Good. Then flip the opposite way, and we're going to do that same nice stretch through the leg, lift up here, keep this little gap here, leg comes down and behind, lift up and lower, find that towel, forward, lift and down. Awesome. Up and down. Just as a really great mobility exercise. So normally we do something like this in the reformer with the straps. This is the best I could come up with, but I love getting that 360 movement through the hip. Let's do one more here. Come forward, lift up, bring it behind you. So lowest foot sort of anchored, other foot's crossed and in front. We're lifting, did we do from forearm? I don't remember, I think we did. Lift up, hand is in front, we come in, we come back. We come in, we come back. 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1, and kick it out. Good. And then put the towel underneath your bum. And then what you're going to do here is actually just roll it up. So it's going to function more as a towel than anything else, than a sliding reformer. And then in this position here, just do a few nice rounds through the spine. So come all the way down, and then slowly curl yourself up, lifting one vertebrae at a time. My head coming up last, my shoulders relaxing. Take a deep breath in there. And then curl the chin down. Feel the neck start to stretch round through the shoulders, round through the lower back. Slide yourself down the legs. Feel a nice stretch. Doesn't matter how far you get. And then slowly come back up. As you breathe through it, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Good. And then last one, roll through your spine. Oh, you can do this one for hours. Feels so good. Give a little pull here. So grab your arms on your legs wherever they fall and almost push your spine backwards. Feel a nice pull through the back and then slide yourself back up. Now keep yourself on that towel. Okay, so it almost becomes like a pivot point. So it's right under your sit bones. And then you're just going to roll down through the spine here, all the way down. And then as you come up, same thing, you come right up, sitting back up onto that towel. So it becomes almost like what anchors your pelvis. Okay, so you don't have the ability to sort of use momentum because that towel is blocking you. Come back up, breathe through it. So if you've done these exercises on other videos or been instructed properly, you want to feel like you could stop at any point and have complete control over where you are. So this requires a lot of segmental stability through our spine. And for a lot of people, they sort of hit a spot like here and they feel like they can't get up, and this is where they just kind of push through and use momentum. And then you'll find yourself like coming way past the towel. So I want you to just slowly come back. And if you need some help through those stickier sections that may feel a little bit weaker, put your hands on your legs and curl yourself up. So give yourself a little bit of support with those arms. Last one here, roll down, all the way down. Deep breath here. And exhale as you come up. Excellent. And then you can come fully up and just shake around in your body. You can go back to the first stretch we did, which is always a good idea after any of these workouts. And everything should just feel a whole lot smoother. And it does. I'm not just saying this. It's not me just trying to sell you on it. It should just feel like those joints have way more movement in them. You have more flexibility. You have more control over your movements. And really, that's the point of pretty much every video that I post. It's working these deep muscles that make us feel more mobile, more stabilized, and just generally feeling better. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time for our next workout.